My iPad is so easy to get into. Huh. Wait a second. My thumb isn't working for some reason. I'll have to put in my password. What was my password again? No, of course I remember it. Of course I remember it. But the thing is that passwords can be pretty difficult. I don't know why my fingerprint isn't working. Maybe somebody stole my identity. They can be difficult to remember. We've got so many of them. And this is Anthony, by the way, from magneticmemorymethod.com. I don't know if you've been over there. It's a website all about learning and memorizing and recalling anything. And there's a free video course over there that you can take that will help you do just that. And if you like these kinds of videos about improving your memory, then subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends. Anyway, passwords, there's gazillions of them, and there are some interesting ways to memorize them. One of the easiest ways is to use the same password all the time, but use a very clever one. And so there's a suggestion that I came across once upon a time, which is just to use song lyrics. Right? So you have a song lyric that you really, really love. I'm not going to tell you any of mine because they're all from heavy metal and they're very strange. But, 5, 6, 7 words that you can type out. Maybe the last word is uppercase or so forth, and there's no spaces, or you put a couple of underscores between the words so that you have the characters. Maybe one letter E is a 3, something like this, right? But it's very, very, very simple, and it's hard to crack because it's just a line of text. That's an option for you, is just to have a song lyric that you use across the internet, across your programs, and all over the place. And it's very unlikely that you're ever going to forget one of your favorite song lyrics, and it's very super unlikely that anybody's ever going to crack that. Now, another thing that you can do is have part of a password being universal, being similar, being the same, and then having different features added to either the beginning or the end of the password, depending what it is. So imagine that you have something like Homer Simpson as your key password element, and it would be maybe Homer Google 55, right? Which would be some number that you chose for a reason that's particular to you. Maybe it would be Homer Gmail 56. Whatever the case may be. Or if you need to have characters in there, maybe you see Homer punching Bart in the face, which he has the incredible alacrity to do sometimes on the show, or grab at his throat or whatever he does. And stars are appearing in Bart's eyes because he's running out of oxygen from these terrible activities. And those stars are the asterisks when you press Shift 8, right? So you could remember that. As a way of having that password always in your mind. So it's like Homer asterisk asterisk, you're seeing now Bart's face, Gmail, and you can think of whatever number, that might be important to you. I remember I used to really like a particular number that I'm not going to get into because I don't want everybody going around trying my passcodes, but and I don't use Homer, and I don't use the violence that he does to his son. But I mention that actually because it's very, very useful to watch cartoons if you want to get more visual in your imagination and use these kinds of imagery, because when you shock yourself, that's when you remember things very, very easily, and then you associate what shocked you so much with things that you don't know, and then it becomes very easy to remember what it was you didn't know because of how you've attached this rubberneck effect to what you didn't know, and then you can find it. It's clever. It's very, very good. So those are just some very simple password ideas. They harness the power of simplicity and repetition with slight modification. The other thing is to have a memory palace for multiple memory palaces, and that memory palace would have as many stations as it requires for all of the passwords that you have. So if you have 30 passwords, then you would have 30 stations in a memory palace. If you had 30 Gmail accounts, then you would have a Gmail memory palace with 30 stations. If you have 25 email accounts, then one thing you could do is alphabetize those accounts, place them in alphabetical order along a memory palace journey, and then have each individual password memorized on that station so that you can recall it. Now, the thing is, and this is the important thing, is you want to be rehearsing the information that you have in a memory palace so it gets into long-term memory. And without doing that, then some of these things will fade over time if you don't repeat them long enough, or you haven't gotten them into long-term memory. So you want to think about your password goal relative to the amount of time that you want to spend rehearsing the information into long-term memory. And that's why I think a combination of all these things together is very, very powerful. And so you would have a limited set of images, like one key figure or a bridging figure, Homer Simpson, for example. You would have one key kind of symbol, which would be an asterisk in the example that we've been using, and then you would have one key number, and then that would be particularized to whatever the password is for. So if it's for getting into an iPad, it would be particularized for that. I mean, everything has its own little rules and conditions about the kind of passwords that you can put into it. So there's no clean system here. And that's why I call the magnetic memory method a method, is because you are creating your own system using the method, which is quite different than what a lot of other people are out there teaching, with this idea that you can just adopt someone else's system. Maybe. But I think really you're better off understanding the principles and really using them methodologically to create your own memory systems. So I hope this has helped you out when it comes to memorizing passwords, giving you some food for thought, some avenues for exploration, and some ideas for execution, because that's where everything comes together when you take action and you do something. And so I hope that you do. And if you want to get in touch, come on over to magneticmemorymethod.com. There's a free video course for you over there. And, click subscribe on this channel if you're watching this on a platform that has the subscribe option, and click like, share with your friends, and teach other people what you've learned about memory today, because the more you learn, the more you can learn, and the more you teach these skills to others, the more that you yourself learn them, and the more you wind up using them. And that's when the miracle happens, because these things are miraculous, and they use nothing more than the natural abilities of your imagination. So I hope you give these things a try, and come on over to magneticmemorymethod.com and send me a note to let me know how you do. And until then, keep yourself magnetic.